I hate crime. Her name was Sybil. She was 5 feet 6 in one direction with interesting measurements in the other. I speak about measurements because I was estimating with my arms doing the work of a tailor's tape. We were dancing.
It's been a lovely night, Larry.
Hey, don't put it in the past tense. We've got a lot of time to go yet.
Sorry, but I haven't, Larry.
Well, what did you do? Start a health scheme?
No,
Well,
I have to catch a train early in the morning.
oh? Where are you going?
I have a cottage in the Hawkesbury.
Oh. Taking a girlfriend?
None of my girlfriends seems to like fishing. Do you?
Love it.
Then maybe you'd like...
It's a date.
That was quick.
Well, I didn't want to give you a chance to change your mind. How long are we staying?
The weekend.
Fine. And now that I'm going, you don't have to worry about catching that train. We can drive up in the morning.
Good. But I'll still have to get up early, so after this dance, will you take me home?
Why get up early? We'll drive up nice and easy.
But my brother will be waiting with the launch.
Oh. I drove her home. Then I went to my apartment, packed, hit the hay, and in the morning went back to Sybil's joint. She had breakfast ready. We ate and drove up to the Hawkesbury. I had to leave my car 100 feet or so from the water. Then we grabbed our luggage and walked down. A guy was waiting.
Larry, this is Lenny, my brother.
Hi.
Hello.
Lenny was tall, slim, and good-looking in a dark, thin-faced way. He gave his sister a side glance which said, "What the heck is he doing here?"
Larry's a good friend of mine. I asked him to spend the weekend with us.
Oh. Fine. Glad to have you, Larry.
Thanks.
Oh, here, I'll give you a hand with those bags.
We loaded the stuff, hopped aboard. Then Lenny kicked over the flywheel and we were off. The Hawkesbury is a big place. There are thousands of cottages, but Lenny headed away from the built-up area. For over an hour, we went through creeks, around headlands, till finally he pointed.
There it is.
His finger stabbed towards a hilly island that rose sharply from the water. I could see 2 cottages.
Ours is the one on the left.
Uh-huh. How far away is the other one?
Oh, a couple of 100 yards.
Any roads on the island?
No, just paths up from the water. Only way you can get there is by boat.
Nice place for a honeymoon.
Or a murder. Larry specializes in murder, Lenny.
Specializes?
He's an American private detective, Larry Kent.
Well, I don't think I can accommodate you with a murder, Larry. But there are a couple of bottles of beer we can kill.
Half an hour later, we did kill them, stone dead, 6 of them. Then we had something to eat, coffee, and then Lenny opened another bottle and broke the seal of a deck of cards.
Do you play canasta?
Like a Spaniard.
Lenny thinks he's pretty good, too, but I'll beat both of you.
Well, 10 bob, I score more than you do, sis.
You're on.
We started playing, but I never did find out which one of us would have won the 10 bob.
Shots.
Sounded like they came from the right.
The other cottage.
Let's go. It was dusk, hard to see. I ran behind Lenny, almost fell down the hill a couple of times, but finally we reached the next cottage.
This way, round the front.
I followed.
Anybody in there?
The door opened. A dame stood framed in the doorway. There was a gun in her hand. But when I saw how scared she was, I didn't go for mine.
I'm from the cottage up the hill. We heard shots.
In here.
We went in. She stepped to one side, pointed at the floor.
I shot him.
I walked over to the guy who lay there. Felt his pulse. Got no response. Looked at his face.
Dead?
Like vaudeville. Do you know who this guy is, lady?
My husband.
Husband?
Have a look at his face, Lenny. Recognize him?
No. Who is he?
Unless he's a perfect double, he's a guy named Joe Gordon, right, lady?
Yes.
Gordon, not the bank robber.
Yeah, he broke jail 3 days ago.
I didn't think he'd come here. I came as soon as I heard he'd escaped jail.
Then you were running away from him.
I meant to divorce him as soon as I got the chance.
Did he know that when he busted out?
I told him just after he was sentenced a few weeks ago. He said he'd never let me divorce him.
So he came looking for you, huh?
He opened the door. He said he'd kill me. But I'd heard him outside. And I had a gun in the house.
He had a gun, too. It was here on the carpet. One shot fired.
He fired first. Then I did.
I looked over the room. His bullet had gone through the fibro wall. Hers had gone through his heart. Then I remembered something I'd read in the papers. I borrowed a flashlight from the dame and took Lenny outside with me. It had rained the night before. Here and there were some soft patches. In one patch, only 50 feet or so from the house and directly in line with the front door, were 2 sets of fresh footprints.
What's it mean?
Well, Joe Gordon didn't escape from jail alone. There was another guy with him, a killer named Pete Malone.
Oh, then you think he came here with Gordon?
Yeah.
Sybil. We left her in the cottage.
You go to her here. Gordon's gun.
Yeah.
By the way, any phones around?
No.
Okay, on your way. I'll get this dame. I think she'll be safer in your joint.
Good idea.
Lenny ran along the path back to his cottage while I went to get the late Mr. Gordon's wife. When I told her about the second character, she took it calmly, grabbed a purse, hefted the gun in her other hand, and came along.
If only there was some way of contacting the police.
That'll have to wait till tomorrow.
Well, can't one of us take a boat?
Not with a killer around. It's too steep towards the water and too dark.
Yes, you're right. Climbing down would make an easy target. Oh, watch the path, Mr. Kent.
Yeah, thanks. Almost went off. You have to be like a mountain goat around here.
Yes. Takes some getting used to.
Incidentally, what'll I start calling you?
Carol will do.
Good. How long have you had the cottage, Carol?
A few years. My father left it to me.
You come here often with, him?
Only once. This sort of life didn't suit him.
Uh-huh. Hey, you don't have to answer this question if you don't want to, but why did you marry a guy like that?
I didn't know what he was when we married. He told me he was a speculator.
You weren't the only one who was fooled. He had the cops going around in circles for over 5 years. One of the smartest operators in the business.
What I can't understand is how they got here.
Easy enough. They could have hired a guy to take them to that point, then walked the rest of the way, or better yet, stolen a boat, used it, and then sunk it.
What was that?
Down. Sounded somewhere above and behind us.
Just behind you. Don't move.
I couldn't. My back was to him.
And you, Mrs. Gordon, drop the gun.
Better drop it, Carol. Mr. Peter Malone,
Right.
what do you want?
Money.
All I've got is 15 quid.
I want a lot more than that.
Will you take a check?
Shut up.
Sure. I was just trying to be helpful, that's all.
I think Mrs. Gordon is the one who can help me.
I haven't even as much as he has.
That's not the story I got from Joe. He said you had plenty.
You don't think I carry a lot of money around with me, do you?
Maybe not. But we could talk.
Me too?
Not you.
Malone rapped me on the back of the neck with the butt of his gun. But when I fell, I went down towards him. As I twisted in the air, I got a quick glimpse of his pants cuff. Before he had a chance to measure me for another chop, I grabbed and pulled. As he went off his feet, I twisted. He hit the ground on his side, started rolling, didn't stop.
Good work.
The flashlight you had.
Here.
I flicked on the beam, worked it down the hill. About 50 feet below, Malone was picking himself off the ground. He put up his hands to protect himself from the glare. Then he transferred his hands to his stomach. Carol had found the gun she'd dropped. Slowly, Malone went down. The way they do when they don't get up.
I thought he might...
Relax. He asked for it. I'll go down and make sure you cashed him in.
I'll wait here.
It took less than a minute to find out how dead he was. One bullet had taken him in the stomach, the second in the head. This dame was a sharpshooter. But she was a mighty shaky one. I had to help her along the rest of the way to Lenny's cottage. He met us on the path, running, gun out.
What happened?
I told him. 20 minutes later, we were sitting in the cottage. 2 shaky women and 2 guys. Lenny and I finally got the dames asleep. Then we grabbed some shut-eye. In the morning, we talked it over.
Well, I think I'd better go and get the police, Larry.
Yeah, you know the way better than I do.
I'd like to go with him. Those bodies...
Yeah. Sybil and I'll stay here.
Come on, Mrs. Gordon.
Sybil and I watched the launch till it was out of sight around a bend. Then, we went for a walk along the path.
Where are you going, Larry?
Just looking.
For what? There were only the 2 of them, I hope.
Yeah, that's all there were, Sybil. I'm looking for something else.
Something else?
Uh-huh. Something I knew was here last night, something that's got me puzzled.
I don't understand.
Making her understand wasn't my object. I wanted to get myself to understand. But proof was rubbed out. Our footsteps during the night had seen to that. All I had was a hunch and some disturbing evidence. But my evidence wouldn't stand in a courtroom. In fact, it was so inconclusive that I didn't tell the cops when they arrived a couple of hours later. There were 2 of them, and a doctor. They loaded the stiffs aboard the launch they had brought, and then the newspaper reporters hit the place in a swarm. When I finally got away with Carol, Sybil, and Lenny, it was almost night again. I drove them all back to Sydney, hit the hay, went to police headquarters in the morning.
Well. The front page, kid.
Hi, Inspector. Sorry all the fun happened outside your area.
Suits me. But, what can I do for you, Kent?
You can talk to me.
What about?
Joe Gordon.
He's dead.
Yeah. And because of that very fact, there might be a lot to talk about.
I don't get you.
You don't fool me, honey bunch. You've got that supercilious grin on your face again.
Have I? And, what am I grinning about, Kent?
You're saying to yourself, here's that smart aleck Yank. He walks in on some action, sees 2 bad apples killed, and he doesn't realize just what else might be in the picture.
You know, if you weren't so cocky, you'd make a good cop.
Oh, I was going to be a cop once, in the States.
Ah? What happened?
Oh, they gave me an IQ test, and then they dropped me.
Failed it, huh?
No, I got such a good mark that it scared them. Another thing, I didn't have flat feet. But what's going on, Inspector?
Why ask me? If you got such a good mark in that IQ test, you should be able to figure it out yourself.
Want me to try?
Yeah?
So, I did. I gave out with the angles. As I talked, he said nothing, didn't nod or shake his head, just looked at me. When I finished, he went into an old nervous habit, tapping his pencil on the top of his desk. I hit the nail right on the head, didn't I, Inspector?
Maybe you did. Maybe you didn't.
What kind of an answer is that?
Kent, you're a private detective. You've got an office only a few blocks away. Why don't you go over and read your mail?
On a Sunday? Oh, only cops work on a Sunday, Inspector. Besides, why get rid of me? I'm the guy who can help you.
I think we can manage.
Oh, sure, you can do a good job of asking questions. You know what you're looking for, so you can start looking. But if somebody finds out you're looking, that's the end of it. You've got no evidence. All you've got is a bit of knowledge and a hunch, just like me.
And what do you suggest, Mr. Private Eye?
I told him. My idea was good, and he knew it. Will you stop tapping that pencil and make up your mind?
Okay. We'll do it.
It was a waiting game. First, the inquest. I appeared, gave my story. So did Sybil, Lenny, and, of course, Carol. Verdict in both cases. Self-defense. The report of the inquest made the front pages. Next day, there was only a column or two on the inside sheets. The day after that, nothing. The public was finished with it. 3 weeks passed. Then... Larry Kent, Private Investigation.
Inspector Daniels here.
What's up?
A move was made only minutes ago.
By car?
Yeah. Our car followed to Hornsby. I've just sent another car over to your office.
Good. How about the boat?
It's waiting for you.
Right, I'm on the way. I dropped everything and ran. The police car hit 65 all the way. I left it for a launch that had the sweetest, lowest marine engine I'd ever heard. I gave the driver directions. He slowed it down as we went around a neck of land close to shore. I hopped off, scraped my knee on an oyster-crusted rock. Then the launch sheered off and went towards the open sea in case anybody was listening to its engine. I had a hill to climb and a mile hike after that. It took me more than an hour. Then I did some Indian stalking, made contact, heard some dialogue, did some more stalking. It was sundown before I heard dialogue again.
Do you think it might be too soon, Carol?
No, they don't suspect anything. Besides, I need money.
We both need money, but maybe we ought to wait.
Don't be so careful, Lenny. Everything's worked out well so far, hasn't it?
But our plans, we were going away together.
We still can.
How? The cops see us together now, it might give them ideas.
No reason why they should see us. There's a boarding house in the mountains. I'll go first, and a few days later you can follow.
Well, I don't like it. I think we should wait another couple of months.
Why? We're in the clear. My husband was a bank robber, and the other one was a killer. They both had guns when I shot them. The police, if anything, were rather happy about the whole affair.
Yes, but they don't know about this 20,000 quid. Bank money that was never recovered.
I tell you, Lenny, there's nothing to worry about. The money's unmarked and it's in small bills. Now, will you start digging?
No, I still don't like it. Up till now, luck's been with us. Even when that private detective came with my sister, it was a break.
No reason why our luck can't continue.
But we shouldn't depend on luck anymore. We should take it easy, careful. The hard part is over. Now's the time to be patient.
Well, I can't wait any longer. Months ago, I watched Joe bury this money, and I've been wanting my hands on it ever since. I've been wanting your arms around me, too. I killed for this, Lenny. I killed for you.
I would have done the job. I told you in the beginning. There's nothing I wouldn't do for you.
Then start digging. Later, we'll leave with the money. In a few days, we'll be together.
All right.
I waited. Waited till he'd gone down 3 feet. Till Carol helped him lift a tin box out of the hole. Till she opened it.
There it is. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think of what it represents, Lenny. Think of what it means to you and me.
We'd better get it down to the launch. It'll be dark soon and we can leave.
Good idea, Lenny.
Kent!
Yeah. Hands up, nice and slow.
What are you doing here?
Looking for butterflies. And I'll bet there are plenty of them in your stomach.
I told you, Carol, we should have waited.
You guessed. Didn't you, Kent?
Yeah.
Where did we make our mistake?
Well, that well-worn path between your cottages. It told of a lot of recent trips. Also, the way both of you followed that path so easily.
You're smart.
Mm-hmm.
What else do you know?
You and Lenny planned this. He asked his sister to come up so there'd be a witness to support both your stories. You knew your husband would come here, didn't you?
Yes.
So, when he busted out, you got up here pronto. When he showed up at your cottage, you produced a gun. He fired, but you'd caught him by surprise. Your bullet got him first. However, you hadn't figured on him bringing a partner.
No. That called for some quick thinking.
And some good shooting.
Like this.
I went down before she fired. Then she went down after I fired. The gun she'd kept hidden fell to the ground. I kicked it away. As I did, Lenny made a run for it through the brush. I followed the sounds he made. Fired into the air. Yelled for him to stop. But he only went faster. Too fast. There was a cliff. Then quiet. Till I heard a launch engine. The cops coming back. And there it is. A dame, a guy, and 20,000 quid's worth of somebody else's money. A bad combination. Now take me, for instance. I'm satisfied with a $5 in my pocket, enough room to lean on the corner of Martin Place and George Street, and good eyesight. You'll see me there tomorrow, girls, watching the dames go by. Good night.